Hi there, Laura Brandenburg from Bridging the Gap, and I just wanted to start the year off with a quick impromptu teaching and share a little bit of wisdom because this is the time we start thinking about, if you haven't already, start thinking about career goals and maybe you have some New Year's resolutions, but I don't want to talk about resolutions so much. Those are a whole nother ball game, but I do want to talk about goals and walk you through just a really quick process to kind of check in and bring some awareness to where you stand with those goals. So if you have a piece of paper or a scratch pad or just pull something up on your computer, that would be great. If not, just listen in and you can come back and write this down later. So what I want you to write down is just what's one goal that you have on your list for this year. What's your one big rock, right? You might think about it as like the big rock, right? The big thing. It might be a promotion, it might be a salary adjustment, it might be a certification, it might be a certain kind of project that you want to work on, right? What's that one big goal that you really have some passion and some drive around, right? That really matters to you career-wise. Okay, so put that down on paper. And then I want you to tap into, how would it feel to achieve that goal? So what would you feel? Like envision it actually, okay, this is driving me crazy. It's just turned up a little bit. What would it actually feel like to achieve that goal? So envision yourself, halfway through the year, a couple months from now, or at the end of the year, you having achieved that. Like you see the senior job title in your, you're able to put that in your email signature, or you get your first paycheck that represents that salary bump, or you get the job that you're looking for, right? Or you're in the project kickoff meeting of that project that you wanted to work on, right? Whatever that goal is, just envision that happening. How would you actually feel? Just take stock of that. And hopefully that's a positive feeling, but if it's a negative feeling, you do want to be aware of that. Okay, so if it's like respected, validated, excited, right, like tap into that positive feeling. But if it's like worried or anxious, be aware of that, because actually that gives you important information. Look at why you feel that way. So if for some reason, like you're on that project and you're like, oh no, now I'm scared, I don't know what to do, right? So you're going to keep yourself from achieving that goal by not wanting to feel that negative feeling. So that awareness is good. So maybe that goal isn't what you really want, or maybe you need to do some work to free up the energy so that you are ready, or some skill development so you are ready to achieve that goal, right? So just think about what that feeling is, or feel into that feeling, right? And now I want you to envision like a path, right, from where you are today leading to that goal, and just start to put in place what are the key actions. And don't overthink this. This doesn't have to be a crystal clear, perfect plan. But you do want to start to think, what are the steps I need to take? How would I put one foot in front of the other, right, in order to achieve this goal? And you don't have to see the whole path, but you do have to see the start of the path. And what are the next maybe 3 to 5 actions, right? Or what are the pieces that you see? So if it was working on a project, first one would be to go to your manager or go to the project manager and be like, this is the kind of project I would love to work on this year. What are the opportunities? What skills do I need to have? How do people get assigned to projects like this, right? And actually have that conversation, right? And so that would be an action to start there, or volunteer for that kind of project. If it's a senior level job role, it could be similar, talking to your manager. What does a senior level role look like in this organization? Or how do raises happen in this organization, right? And what do I need to do to set myself up for a specific salary increase? Starting to have those conversations and gathering that information so that you know what those steps are beyond that. All right, now I want you to commit to one action that you are going to take. It's 3 o'clock on a Friday, so I will say by Monday, the one action that you will take to move that goal forward, move forward towards that goal. Again, it doesn't have to be the whole plan, and make sure this is not a planning action, right? Like the action can't be, I will create a plan to achieve my goal. Like I want you to do something that actually puts your energy, yourself in the game, okay? And actually makes the progress. Like planning is important, like not that planning isn't important, but we can get lost in planning and not actually take the actions we need to take to move ourselves forward. So the idea here is that you start some momentum. Okay, so that's like the basic structure of getting started with that goal. And it gets you out of overwhelm, it gets you out of stress about it, and it gets you envisioning what it's going to be like and taking action. Now, if you did have some negative energy or feelings around what that goal is, please share that below. We can do some coaching around why that might be and help you work through that. Okay, and I would love to hear below what your goal is, what it would feel like to achieve that, and what your next action is that you're taking on Monday, so that we can support you in that in the group and get a little bit of accountability going here. Now, I have just a couple of bonus questions that I want to ask you and ask you to reflect on. They're going to give you a little bit more information about the feasibility of that goal and the likelihood of you actually achieving that goal this year. Wouldn't that be nice to like have a crystal ball of like, is this goal actually going to come true for me, right? Am I actually going to make it happen? So the next question I have for you is, what is your level of belief? So on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your level of belief that that goal is going to become true, become real? That's kind of a tough question, right? And it's an important question. It's a really, really important question. And the reason it's important, I'm actually going to read here from Raymond Halliwell, Working with the Law. I love this book, and I was kind of outlining this teaching, and then I opened to this exact page, and it was the perfect message. I have it underlined here. And he says, when you pray for one thing and then fear and doubt that you will receive it, you diffuse your mental forces and can attract only what the lesser thoughts believe and expect. I'm going to read that again. And I'm actually going to back up a little bit and read some context. So if you are working for success, health, or happiness, you may wish for a lot, but you will only enjoy as much as you are able to expect, so as much as you truly believe in. If in your heart you doubt or fear that your need will be met only in part and not at all, you can know that you will receive that much and no more. So that's where that level of belief comes in, right? Is your belief a 1 or a 10? Do you believe it's going to happen? Because if you don't believe, I actually have it here, right? If you don't believe, you won't receive. And it's a Christmas decoration, but I leave it up year round because it is a true aspect of how we get to our goals in our lives. If we don't believe that it's possible for us, then it won't actually happen. So if you have a low number on that belief scale, you need to look at that. Doesn't mean that goal can't happen for you this year, but it means you need to look at how do you change your beliefs around that, right? What are the limiting patterns that you have around that might keep you from moving forward towards that? Why don't you believe it's possible for you, right? And then we can identify, is that a truth or an untruth? And we can start to reframe that and shift that, because until you believe that, you can't receive that. And then the why the feeling question was so important is in this last statement. When you pray for one thing and then fear and doubt that you will receive it. So it can either be the fear that, like, gosh, if I do get assigned to that project, or I am on a business analyst, like I get the senior title, what does that mean? That's scary, right? So if you fear that you will receive it, or if that you fear that you might not receive it, like, oh my gosh, I set this goal, what if I don't receive it? I'm, it's just going to repeat the pattern that I'm a failure, right? Not good thinking to have in mind. So when you pray for one thing, or set a goal, set an intention for one thing, and then fear and doubt that you will receive it, you diffuse your mental forces and you can attract only what the lesser thoughts believe and expect. Okay, so this is sometimes why we set big goals and we achieve small amounts of them too, because we set the big goal, but we really only believed we could achieve this much of it. So maybe we had a goal of like a 20% salary increase, but we really only believe that people get 3 to 5% increases, right? And so we get that 5% anyways. So you have to believe in your goal. And part of the way that you believe in your goal is mapping out those actions and determining what those next steps are, and actually starting to take those actions, because that allows you to take personal responsibility towards the goals that you want. All right, we're coming up on about 10 minutes here, and I wanted to keep this quick. So just another couple quick questions that I will leave you with to like let and simmer on. What support, like what would, so part of the belief piece is looking at what would support that goal happening. What support do you need from your team, from your manager, from outside resources to enable you to reach that goal, right? And what would keep it from happening? So sometimes we don't believe it's going to happen because we think some external event is going to keep it from happening. So think about those external events as well. And then that really empowers you because you can come up with workarounds. So, well, maybe I won't get it in my current company, but what would be a workaround? What would be a plan B to achieve that in a different company, right? And start to have some of those workable plans that allow you to achieve that goal in multiple different ways. So those are 2 questions that I'll leave you with as well. So really would love to hear your takeaways, your ahas, what your goals are, how it would feel to achieve those goals, and what action you are going to take in the immediate future to start the progress towards achieving that goal in 2020. And this is something we're going to be talking a lot more about over the next couple of weeks. I am hosting a live webinar next Thursday, January 9th at 3, no, not 3, we're going to do it 2 times, 11 a.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Eastern, to meet multiple time zones and people who would prefer to come during the day versus at night if they're in the U.S. or outside the U.S. And one of those times is probably middle of the night and one of those times is not. We wanted to make it available to multiple time zones. And registration is not open for that webinar yet, but it will be on Monday. And I'll be sharing the details about it in the group on Monday. But today I just wanted to pop in with this brief little teaching around goals that I hope gets you set up for success in 2020 and aware of those things that might hold you back that you don't even know, because that awareness, once you see that, you can change it. It's not about being stuck in that negative pattern. It's not about allowing that to predict your future. It's about, like, that was there whether we asked the question or not, and now that you're aware of it, you can make a new choice and choose a new reality for yourself. And that's what I hope you take away from this teaching, especially if you had any sort of like negative ickiness around any of those questions. It's just information that you can choose to reframe and change, and now make a conscious effort to make a new choice and take a new action around. All right. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Leave your comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And again, Laura Brandenburg from Bridging the Gap. We build our profession one business analyst at a time, and success starts with you.